Yeah, I'm just like, here's another day in this world of
Yeah.
hypocrisy.
Welcome, welcome. Om Dum Durgaye Namaha. Om Dum Durgaye Namaha. This is about the Handala flotilla that was kidnapped today. Kidnapped. And that's the appropriate word, since they're always screaming about their the Hannibal directive and their hostages while they starve Gaza, supposedly wanting their hostages back, but they're starving their hostages. The Hannibal directive, if you don't know anything about it, it's actually an insult to Hannibal, but okay. Go check it out. I'm trying. It looks like you're joining. You've waved it. No, hang on. Let me invite you to the live. So we just saw the Handala get kidnapped, and we heard screams and no and cries, and we heard them think so. We heard them think so. We heard them think so. Andromeda Flame.
Andromeda
Be
Flame.
careful so that you be
Careful so that you
be
be
careful. Let me be
careful. Let me
quiet
be quiet
so that you can
so
do
that
your
you can do your thing.
thing. And go ahead
Go
and
ahead
speak,
and speak,
please. You've been
please. You've been
following them all
following them
day
all day
long
long
since
since
yesterday.
yesterday.
Yeah, I've been following the Handala all day long. And this was part of the Freedom Flotilla. You may remember the Madeline ship recently that was also on a similar mission. This was a ship with 21 human rights advocates, activists, journalists, obviously a sailor to sail the boat, carrying essential aid, including baby formula, and the little space and weight they had left, they brought teddy bears.
I
I
want you
want
to
you to
talk
talk
about
about
when doctors come to donate a week or two to Gaza. I want you to tell them about what is the one thing they confiscate from the doctors' satchels and suitcases when they cross to Tel Aviv to Gaza. What are the one thing they confiscate?
So several doctors have said this, and these are international doctors who donate their time to go to Gaza to help, mainly because the health service in Gaza has been decimated.
They've killed every doctor.
Yeah, they've abducted, tortured, and
Thank you.
that word I hate, unalived many medical staff. There was also the unaliving of paramedics who were going to rescue, I think, a 7-year-old girl. I mean,
Yeah.
it's horrifying. But these doctors, when they go through the security checks into Gaza, their bags are searched, and the one thing that's confiscated is baby formula, because they're bringing in what little they can in their luggage so that at least they can give the babies this nutrition when they present to hospital with the complications of starvation and malnutrition.
Share the
share the
life,
life,
please.
please.
Please let's
Please
not
let's
have
not have
every asshole
everyone running around.
running around raw and jumping up and down and buying jokes. Okay, please. We need many of us in America. We're fucking responsible. Okay, we're responsible. I am sick and tired. I am so sick and fucking tired of the apathy of America. Are you all on so much pharma that none of you can think anymore or feel? Do something. Share the fucking live. Tell your friends this is important, because it is important. I'm so sick of the fucking apathy of this country. You look like you're all on fucking Soma pills. You're so busy taking your pharma like little puppets. This is important. I'm ashamed of us. The whole world was watching this flotilla. 24,000 people, and none of them were Americans. Meanwhile, the Zayas were laughing. Get the fuck off your ass and do something instead of buying more shit on TikTok. Get off your fucking ass and start making content. Get off your ass. Go ahead, Sarah.
Apathy is a cancer. All right. It is a cancer for your own consciousness. And it is a cancer for humanity when it leads you to look away, ignore, or attempt to justify the kinds of horrors that you should be bearing witness to in Gaza today. As we do this live, the minutes that we're going to do this live, there will be children, babies, elderly people, mothers, fathers, brothers, sisters, aunts, uncles, friends, cherished ones, who will breathe their last because of a deliberate man-made famine and genocide.
Which the Irish are very aware of. 4 million Irish died, and that's the recorded number. Died because Queen Victoria, I don't want to see another fucking movie on that ugly little troll of a bitch. Queen. She made sure that with all the food that there was in Ireland, that the Irish would starve to death. And we're watching it again. I don't want to hear October 7th. I don't want to hear the H group. Because if somebody was knocking down your door and fucking taking your kids away and throwing them in jail until you never saw them again until they were 20 years old and a shell of themselves, you'd be the H group too, you fucking cowards. I don't want to hear one more fucking thing. Except the fact that there are babies and there are Zios, these zombies. Fucking, I'm taking it. These zombies, there are fucking grown women your age that are laughing that babies, and they think it's correct for babies, infants, toddlers to die. They think it's okay. They think it's actually appropriate and it's necessary. Who does that sound like to you in 1939? Who does it sound like? What the fuck is wrong with these people? They got concentration camps. They are anally essaying people. They are hurting people. They're not just starving them. It's like putting little chicks in a barrel and just fucking with those chicks. If you saw that in a video of chicks in a barrel with a human being torturing those chicks, you'd lose your fucking mind. These are human beings and it's no different. I am ashamed to be an American. I'm fucking ashamed. And you should be too. And you should be doing something, writing, posting, regurgitating, duetting, stitching. Fucking get off your ass and stop being in an apathetic world. You look like everything 1984, George Orwell. You are co-creating that world. These people on that flotilla, what did you hear, Andromeda Flame? Because I heard screams.
Yeah, so if I go back to the beginning, because I've been following them, I've been following the flotilla since early this morning, and they've done several lives. When it became clear, so when they were within about 64 nautical miles of Gaza, they picked up Israeli vessels sailing towards them at speed, and the radio technician on board attempted to contact the Israeli Navy, who initially did not answer. Now, they were very, very on it on the boat. They immediately contacted the Egyptian Port Authority and asked for passage through Egyptian territorial waters for safe passage to Gaza. Eventually, the Israeli naval vessels did respond, saying that they had authority to stop this vessel. The response from the boat was, this is a civilian vessel carrying 21 people, carrying essential aid. This is a lawful humanitarian mission which is sailing in international waters. Attacking this ship is a breach of international law. Furthermore, they went on and they said that the deliberate starvation of humans is also a war crime. They were incredibly articulate, incredibly calm. And Egypt eventually granted them access to their territorial waters. Now, bearing in mind, this is a British registered ship sailing in international waters, unarmed, on a lawful humanitarian mission. So what Israel did was an act of piracy in international waters.
Their whole
Their whole
country.
country.
I'm so sick of being politically
Politically
correct.
correct.
I don't give
I
a
don't give a shit
anymore.
anymore.
None of
None
us
of
care.
us care.
They went too
They
far.
went too far.
This incident is an act of piracy by the very definition.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, it is. The imprisonment of the crew, of the 21 crew, and I believe at least one of them's in their 70s, is abduction, kidnapping. And the crew have said that they will go on a collective hunger strike. Most of them have said that that will be no water. So they have about 5 days.
As a physician, I'd like you to break down so people understand. And by the way, you people that have parents, and it's funny, we only have like, what is it, 4 people listening? Like, I'm so disgusted really with America right now. I'm sorry. I am so fucking pissed. We're fucking having people being grabbed off the streets. Meanwhile, we've got people, babies being starved on the streets of Gaza, whatever left is as the streets. But can you give us, since most people won't fucking bother to use ChatGPT, except to ask if their soulmate's coming, tell us the 5th stage of famine and what that looks like as an expert in your field. You don't have to describe your credentials. Trust me, she knows what the fuck she's doing. Tell me what the 5th stage of famine, what does it apply? How long do they have? And what does it mean?
So how long they have depends on age and constitution. So children and the elderly are particularly vulnerable. And this is essentially a state of kind of where the body essentially eats its own muscle, eats its own tissues in order to preserve brain function. Right. And that includes degradation of the heart muscle. It includes degradation of the normal folds and mucosa of the gastrointestinal tract. And what effectively it means is that the body that the vital organs start to shut down and atrophy. And feeding again is dangerous.
Right.
So you can't why? Because you can develop something called refeeding syndrome, which is potentially fatal. So people who have experienced this level of starvation need to be fed very specifically in very, very controlled circumstances with monitoring of their electrolytes. So it's a very, very, very dangerous stage. You will see footage, for example, right, of the victims in prisoner of war camps or concentration camps from the Second World War, who were given food on their release, and they couldn't absorb it, they couldn't hold it down, they vomited. So starvation is not just something that you can remedy with a good meal. Starvation is a physiological, the kind of physiological decay, which means that eventually the body is incapable of properly absorbing food.
Why are we still taking a big tablespoon of salt and stirring it into their glass of water? What is that doing?
It's giving them electrolytes. That's it.
This Flotilla was going in to bring baby formula, probably pre-mixed liquid forms, because there's no water. Oh, by the way, just in case you didn't know, they're not allowed to go into the ocean. Did you know that? The minute they go into the ocean to swim, to bathe, to wash nappies, there's no way to use material to create diapers for their babies. So they're using trash bags because they're not allowed to go into the ocean. The minute they're seen in the ocean, they're shot by snipers. Tell me again who they're fighting. Tell me again who they're protecting, who they're defending themselves from. Meanwhile, just so you know, we're seeing zombies, having barbecues right on the edge of Gaza just to taunt them with the smell of roasted meat, chicken, and let's not forget the appropriation of hummus, and all of the Middle Eastern food that's been appropriated by these zombies. Tell me again how they're protecting themselves. Tell me again about October 7th, because I'll tell you about 1948, 1967. I will go down the list. I've been studying this since I was 10 in France. Ignorance is not enough. The YouTube is filled with information. You have no excuse not to know. I was before I was born. I don't give a fuck. Go look up 1948, the Nakba. Go ahead. I'm not Armenian. I looked up the genocide on the Armenians. I wasn't born. I know all about it. Damn near a million people died during an Armenian genocide. This is not fucking okay. And all of you who are Christians, kumbaya, Jesus, come save us. Do you really think any avatar, any high-level soul would come down to this shit? You think he approves? You think he's entertained? To quote Maximus in the Roman Gladiator, in the movie Gladiator? Do you think this is okay? No, I think most of you better start using your Facebook for something more than posting your favorite picture of your dog. Okay? You do better, because you're fucking failing. I don't know what to do. I'm so depressed. I can't see these images. Post them, and post them, because honestly, it took us 2 years for finally the wave to change. Took people like me, people like Andromeda Flame, little content creators, 1 million of us to keep posting and posting, being shadow banned, losing clients, losing money. Do something. I'm not kidding. Do something. You want to have a fight at the dinner table with your fucking mother-in-law? This is the fight to have. What are your opinions on what's going on? What's going to happen next? Because I can tell you this, if they harm these people, I'm pretty sure that we don't need that many, but a lot of people are going to lose their fucking shit if they harm those people. What are your opinions?
Well, the propaganda machine, which is giving cover for the genocide, is starting to break down, and it's breaking down in part because of the proper use of social media. Now, how did I see it? I saw it because it was on YouTube all day, and then there were lives on Instagram. That's how I saw exactly what was going on. And they were saying to us, screen record this.
That's right.
So there's a record.
I was still.
And there is now a mass movement against this genocide. Rightly so, and far too late. But there is now a mass movement against this genocide. People are starting to wake up. People are starting to realize that they have been lied to.
That's right.
I mean, Piers Morgan, absolutely
God.
obnoxious man. Okay.
Yeah.
A horrible specimen. Okay. Like in every possible respect. But even he has started seeing through the propaganda.
Well, I mean, he spoke to Daniel Weiss in horror. He was interviewing. If you don't know who Daniel Weiss is, where have you been? Shame. I'm going to call you. Those of you that are listening to me, I thank you. But I need you guys to start posting some serious shit. I stitched Daniel Weiss. She is a monster. I don't know what hellgate she came from, but she puts the fear of God in you because she is a demon. And I'm going to say something else. Zionists is not Judaism. And what's going to happen? And I know the rabbis fighting against those demonic Zionists, okay? They know that they will be corralled as the same problem. They will unfairly now deal with anti-Semitic attacks because people are confusing the Zionist cult, because it's a fucking cult. Trust me. I mean, they're fucking taking heifers and sacrificing them. When was the last time you heard of a pure religion, a good religion who was really in the light sacrificing animals? Should I break it down for you? I'm sure you can Think about it. Just think about it. When was the last time your Catholic priest asked you to bring in a goat? Just say, when was a Buddhist monk asked you to bring a chicken for a sacrificial rite? I mean, come on, let's wake up here, okay? And let's be fair about what is the problem. And it's they're a problem. The Zionists are a problem. They are a menace, and they are dangerous people, because the evil of Daniel Weiss is it's a pollination in that part of the world, and it shakes me up. Okay, what are your thoughts on that? I mean, at what point? Because they're controlling AIPAC, they're controlling our government, they're controlling your government, they're controlling. I mean, they're controlling what we're allowed to say. They're controlling what they're publishing. They control the Schofield Bible. They made sure that all these idiot preachers were just towing the line in America, and it's a particular American problem. Candace Owens, Pierce Morgans are waking up. They were all Zionist supporters. In fact, they would use the word Zionist with pride, not knowing what it meant. We got a problem, folks, and it's time for you to fucking repost hashtag Stitch, Duet, and create your own content. We need to push that ball all the way to the fucking finish line. We need to make that touchdown using an American metaphor. Okay? We need to be the linebackers and throw these motherfuckers to the ground and take everything back. And we need to take our country back. It's not a joke. Because if they cannot, because meanwhile, while this is happening, they are ripping people off the streets of our country with masks, with sign-on bonuses. I've heard that are insane amounts of money. We're talking about 100 grand sign-on bonus money. Are you fucking kidding me? But you won't pay a high school teacher $150,000, but you will pay these fucking kidnappers money like that? The priorities are fucked. And so what matters, what happens to brown people matters to the white people, matters to the red and black. I'm seeing people of color fucking supporting Zionists. They're stupid. They're stupid. That's it. What are your thoughts on anything that you want to bring up? I'm sorry. I'm just nosebleed fucking done.
I mean, the Daniela Weiss thing is just, seriously, anybody on this live who doesn't know who we're talking about, look her up. All right. She's considered the grandmother of the settler movement. And if you don't know what the settler movement is, it's essentially Jews who are using the right of return, okay, who are Zionists, because it is separate. And I'll come back to that. But these are Zionists who are using their right of return to Israel, which, you know, FYI, the Palestinians do not have. And they are forcibly expelling Palestinians from their homes, taking their houses, taking their land, and just expelling these Palestinians, who then have no choice but to go into a refugee camp, or in some cases live in caves.
Well, they're not just it's funny how all these Christians, they love Yeshua. They love Yeshua. I love the Yeshua too. But they are olive trees that Yeshua most likely saw in the Holy Land. And those olive trees were burned to punish the true Palestinian Canaanites, the true Semitic people, okay? The ones that can actually prove DNA back to Mother Mary, Joseph, Mary of Magdalena, Yeshua, and his brothers and sisters, okay? They have the bloodline to prove it. And these Europeans who converted hundreds of years ago do not have the bloodline. That's number one. But they're going onto that land and they are burning trees that were there 2,000 years ago. It's like burning the sequoia trees in the western part of this country. It's like literally just sawing down the trees and going, fuck you. I don't care if it's 3,000-year-old tree. Fuck it. We're going to take it down and make tables. That's essentially what's happening. So the settlers have no true respect. And the settlers do essay. The settlers do grab children and women. And there's been a massive movement of pedos being given asylum to that part of the world. And this is a fact, and you can look it up, and it will be replicated again and again. If you want knowledge, you will find it. And my question is, if Zios, the zombies, are so elevated and so godlike, why would they accept pedos in their realm around their own children? I have a lot of questions. And again, I have Jewish brothers and sisters who are not standing for this, who are putting themselves in harm's way. I have friends who are Jewish who literally have lost their entire family because their family is Zionist. Okay? And they have no family now because they could not abide with this regime, this cult. What do you think is going to happen to the people on Handala, the crew members, the 21 crew members in Handala? I heard screaming. I heard a woman screaming. And I've heard a no, and screams. And they turned and they broke the cameras to make sure we wouldn't be able to see anything. And so what do you think's going on?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I saw one of them hitting one of the crew members as well. And I mean the interception of this boat was ridiculous. I don't know how many heavily armed kind of, SAS type things, right, entered that boat. And you had your peace activists with their hands in the air.
That's right.
It's really, really, really unedifying spectacle. Right. After having had international law quoted.
Yeah.
Okay. So what's going to happen to them? I honestly don't know. The crew of the Madeleine, some of them were mistreated. Kept in, utterly squalid conditions, kept in solitary confinement, prevented from having legal counsel, prevented from having any contact with their family or consulate. So some of the Madeleine crew were mistreated. Obviously, the highest profile of them was Greta Thunberg, who was returned to her home country quite promptly. But there was a Brazilian man who was on a dry hunger strike, and it took several days for him to get back to Brazil. So what's going to happen to them? It's very, very difficult to tell. I think they will be mistreated. They will be prevented from having legal counsel. Maybe even prevented from having consular assistance, and they will be on a collective hunger strike. Now, you put somebody in their 70s on a dry hunger strike, and you're talking about very little time. A fit person in their 30s or 40s can maybe go 5 to 7 days.
When she means dry to water.
I mean, no water. And it's summer in the Middle East.
I'm going to say something, okay? And I'm going to say something very... Most of everything I'm going to say is politically incorrect. And you know what? I think it's time for us to take the fucking gloves off. When the Nuremberg trials were happening, I can tell you that as a little girl, I was 100% in full alignment with hunt these motherfucking down to the end. I don't care if you go to Eskimo land. I don't give a fuck if you go to fucking Argentina, where they found a lot of these SS officers there. They were hunting these motherfucking, with no satellites, no cell phones, none of the technology we have. They were hunting them down, and it took 20 years to get. They even knew when they died. They would say, this guy died, so we got to him, but he died like 6 months ago, or he just died. They were relentless. We need to ask and demand for The Hague, the ICC. We need these people, IOFs, to fucking be brought to justice, every single one of them, in front of the Hague, ICC, International Criminal Courts. When I upload this video, I will have a portal for you to actually upload any videos you found on Telegram, anything at all, and demand for arrest forthwith. No delays, nothing. Now, the UN, 130 countries, I think it's 130 or more, were voting for us to send aid to Gaza. It was voted down. You live on the soil of one of the countries that voted it down. When a country is against giving human aid, human rights, human aid, food, water, dignity, sovereignty, some level of respect, and please don't call it a war. Don't call it a fucking war. It's a siege. And look up siege and look up Old Testament, and you'll see sieges and what sieges were all about. This is a siege. It's classic shit that goes back 3,000 years ago. Could you, because I know you're well educated in the Bible, give them an example of a famous siege that went on, if you can think of one, or if you could look one up quickly on the internet. One of the famous sieges that's talked about in the Old Testament, or something that you can think of that goes back 3,000 years ago. So they understand the contrast, that this is not a war. It was never a war.
I mean, I'm absolutely exhausted. So I'm struggling to access the biblical sieges, but historical sieges. I mean, where do we start, right?
Right.
Obviously, I have a connection with Ireland, okay, but if you consider, I suppose the main biblical one would have been the Babylonian siege of Jerusalem, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that resulted in not only the city's destruction, but the exile of its people. And that was an Old Testament siege, right? And a siege is where a people, an ill-equipped people, are attacked by a very well-equipped, very sophisticated, very well-trained military force. Whether they're using spears and arrows, or whether they're using white phosphorus, drone strikes, air strikes, and automatic weapons.
And does it really take billions and billions and billions and billions and billions, and meanwhile our homeless people are being threatened? Our homeless people are being threatened right now. So we've got two things happening right now that are happening simultaneously. Our immigrant population, by the way, some of them are not immigrants. They're U.S. citizens. Hello, but they have brown, tan, black skin. Okay, being grabbed off the streets. Good luck on that one. And then we have now the homeless population in massive threat, and anyone that has a mental challenge. I'm not even going to call it mental health disorder, because honestly, if you're a starseed and you're depressed over seeing this shit show and you're depressed, you're healthy, because you should be depressed. I'm trying to make sure that you're not staying in that mode of despair. We're going to win this. But we need to talk about this. We need to not just talk about it, share it, get people to be in active solution to push against this machine until we push it over the fucking cliff, destroying it to bring in the new earth. Okay? And that means being very smart about what we do. Okay? But I want you to pray for Handala. I want you to pray for the souls that are dropping every second we are breathing. A baby, an adult has just taken their last breath. Every breath you're taking, one has gasped their last breath. Whether it's in Gaza, whether it's in Sudan, the Congo, or other parts of the world, including our own fucking very country. Because we're not even taking care of our own people. We're sending billions and billions and billions and billions. Like, it's a blank check. And you know how you're struggling to survive. And you know how you're looking for jobs and the second job. And you're actually, some of you are actually thinking of a third. Trying to figure out how you can sleep, how you can live on 3 hours a day of sleep. And if that's not your story, I can fucking bet your ass it's someone else's. And just because it's not your story doesn't mean you shouldn't give a shit. If you're a starseed and you're part of this journey of ascension, you're responsible to make sure that we get there. Get off your ass and fucking roll up your sleeves and start going. I'm sorry if I'm fucking being strong and rough, but this is not cotton candy time. I'm not going to fucking paint your face, little rainbows on your cheeks, and give you a little third eye. We need to grow the fuck up and start getting to become conscious light warriors. And light warriors mean that we use energy, we use frequency and energy, and we play the game in 3D, but we really concentrate on 5D. That's what it means to be a light warrior. We are not going to lower our frequency to fight, fist to fist with these fucking cowards. We're not doing it. Last words, my love, and thank you for being here. I know how tired you are.
So I'd like to say two things. The first is the danger of conflating anti-Zionism with anti-Jewish racism.
Thank you.
And I'll give you an example. For those of you on this side of the Atlantic, you may remember a few years ago that there was a lot in the press about anti-Semitism within the British Labour Party. A lot of members were expelled, members were silenced. There's also an Al Jazeera documentary about it, which is very informative. I'll not go into that. But there was one woman that sticks out in particular. She was a Jewish black woman who had referred to slavery, the transatlantic slave trade, as a Holocaust. And she was attacked for using the word Holocaust. And as a result, she was expelled from the British Labour Party for anti-Semitism. And this term, self-hating Jew, right, cropped up. I mean, can you think of anything more anti-Jewish than saying that because someone is Jewish, because they're born Jewish, they have to observe a certain political ideology, and a certain political ideology which has become more and more and more supremacist over the past 75 years. So the conflation of anti-Zionism, which is about opposing a regime of apartheid. I mean, we can all agree that apartheid in South Africa was wrong, right? We can all agree that it was brutal. We can all agree that it didn't work. But somehow we're told that if we call Zionism an apartheid movement, or we point out where Palestinians in Gaza or the West Bank are treated like second-class citizens, which they are.
They are.
Their diet's controlled, their movements controlled, their employment's controlled. Everything about their lives is controlled. Okay,
Yeah.
That is an apartheid system. But we're somehow told to keep our little mouths shut, otherwise we'll be accused of that most egregious thing of anti-Semitism. So it's a very dangerous and kind of Orwellian silencing technique to conflate those two things, because they are entirely separate. And I would urge you to listen to Professor Gabor Mate, okay, who is an incredible doctor, just beautiful ideas and philosophies about the human psyche and the origins of disease. Just a gorgeous human being who survived the concentration camps. He was in the concentration camps as a child. He suffered. He saw suffering. And yet he is anti-Zionist. Okay?
Yeah, let's not confuse. I see a lot of danger to our brothers and sisters who actually follow the path of Judaism, okay, as opposed to Zionism. And they're not the same at all. And I don't know what else to say. They're not the same. Just like, many of us, I believe I'll give you an example. When I think of the least violent religion of all religions, in my opinion, is Buddhism. I've yet to see a Buddhist monk, say, convert to Buddhism or I will, nail you to the cross. Convert to Buddhism or I'll fucking burn you alive. Never heard that from a Buddhist. What I have heard from a Buddhist is I want peace. And because you're not listening, I will self-immolate. I've heard that. I will self-harm, but it will be in a religious way for you to pay attention that I want peace for the planet. That's what Buddhist monks do. They'll harm themselves for peace rather than harm anyone else. And what I'm going to say to you is that the land that's controlled by the Zionistic system, it can't survive. We can't survive them either. They are harming all of us. They are dangerous. They are toxic, and they're vile. And there's some satanic shit going on in that system as well. And I'm sorry if you don't like what I said. I don't, please do your fucking research. I'm so sick of people going, conspiracy theorists, oh my God. Conspiracy and theorizing means there's something wrong. Let me theorize. Let me do research. Let me find out. Are there kooks in that club? You're damn right. But you know what? A lot of them have been speaking the truth for a long time, and they've been attacked. They've been bullied. And at the end of the day, any group that decides, and by the way, from their own mouths, from Zionistic mouths, I've heard them say that Palestinians are animals. They're Islamophobic. They are anti-Christian. And that is not the truth about the Jews. The true Jews live in harmony. And in fact, I saw an Ashkenazi Jew somewhere in Jerusalem or I'm not sure where. But he was saying, we have lived with our brothers and sisters, the Palestinian people, with no problem. We live in harmony. This is wrong what's happening. And when they say that, they are bullied by the Zionist machine. And it's a machine, and it's an evil machine. I want to thank you for tuning in. This will be uploaded on YouTube, on Sacred Intimacy Tarot. Yeah, us as spiritualists, we do more than just throw tarot. We do more than that. You cannot be political, okay, and spiritual. In other words, you can't separate the two. What does political mean? You had looked it up, Andromeda Flame. Did it mean human being, or what did it mean in ancient Latin? Political, politics.
The etymology of politics is Greek, meaning citizen.
There you go.
Right? So politics is you, me, it's all of us. And that's the other thing I want to say is political apathy. Unfortunately, a lot of people hear the word politics, okay, and they equate that with the childish mudslinging and one-upmanship that we witness in our circuses of parliaments or houses or whatever, right? That is not politics. Politics is the price of your food. Politics is whether or not you can afford a place to live. Politics is, are your rights at work. Politics are your reproductive rights. Politics are your ability to live in alignment with your sexuality. That's politics.
Yeah.
Right? And if you think that you can extricate yourself from politics and live in a bordered country, live in a society, then you are fooling yourself. It is that apathy which has allowed our leaders to squeeze us and push us and diminish us for millennia.
Exactly.
The difference now is that the majority of us are literate and we have the internet. So you've got no excuse. And apathy really is, it's a cancer on your consciousnly. When this all started, I heard, I can't look at that because it'll lower my vibration. I'm sorry. Seriously, what a load of crap. Do you know what will lower your vibration? Do you know what will put you into karmic loops? Do you know what will stop you from ascending? Is being silent. Okay? Qui tacet consiteri videtum.
What does that mean?
He who is silent can be seen to consent.
That's right.
It's the defense that Sir Thomas More used, right, in his trial for high treason. He was found guilty, but that's because, Henry VIII had decided that he needed to be executed, so he was anyway. But that's right. But that was, as a lawyer, that was the defense he used. He did not want to sign, right, the oath, right, the oath of succession, and therefore he used his silence as his defense. So if you're silent, you are giving tacit consent. Let me say that again. If you're silent, you're giving tacit consent.
That's right.
And if you're silent on this, you're giving tacit consent to genocide in the land of Yeshua.
That's why.
I was going to say this is, we've been talking about, we've heard a lot, there's a spiritual war, there's a spiritual battle, protect yourself, etc., etc. This is the spiritual battle. This is the spiritual battle made flesh. That's right. In the flesh of starving children. In the flesh of children who've had limbs amputated without anaesthetic. In the flesh of the doctors who are collapsing because they're eating a couple of spoonfuls of rice every day. That is the spiritual war. And if you can't get your head around why that's spiritual, why this is essential, then you don't understand unity consciousness and you're not going to ascend.
I agree. Well, it's not a curse. Apparently some people are going to need to loop back into 3D a couple times and get fed up and finally find their voice. But for now, I'm going to tell you something. The reason why it's finally where we finally have movie stars, Mate Gabor, what was his name? Mate, am I pronouncing it correctly? Mate? Dr. Mate?
Yeah, Gabor Mate, yeah.
Gabor Mate. Gabor Mate started talking about this in the beginning. I think he started in November, December of 2023. He started speaking once he realized what the hell was going on. Because, October 7th is all... What about the two things they constantly stand on? October 7th and H. I'll tell you what. The day before, they had grabbed some teenage kids for throwing rocks at a tank. Why? Because one of their friends had been kidnapped in the middle of the night. I think it was a 12-year-old. Another girl who I haven't seen, she was called the Lioness of Palestine. They arrested her back in 2023, and I'm pretty sure she was a virgin until she wasn't. Because I saw it in her eyes, and I did a post a long time ago, in around 2023, January, February of 2024, she was taken into custody. Something changed in her. Something broke her, and I haven't seen her face since. Where the fuck is she? Remember, she was blonde with wild blonde, frizzy, kind of curly hair. Do you remember?
I remember her, yeah. I think she was, 12 or 13 when she was taken?
The first time.
She was a child.
She was taken in 2024, I believe, or 2023 December. And I know she was a virgin. I know let me put it that way, she wasn't out playing around. And what I saw come out, the way she was held up, the way she looked down, her body language, I'm a psychic, for Christ's sake. They harmed that girl. And I never saw her again. Do you remember that, Andromeda?
No, I do remember. And, I have friends who have family in the West Bank or Gaza. And it's not uncommon for people to just disappear.
Yep.
Particularly from the West Bank. What happens is in the West Bank is that a lot of the men cross the border into Israel for casual work on a daily basis. And at one point, a lot of them were lured across the border and they were simply picked up, disappeared. Families didn't know what happened to them. I mean, these are war crimes.
These are going on.
And this is not just what's happened over the past 2 years and 9 months, right? This has been going on since 1948.
Right, but let me tell you another story. There's a video. This is in 2017. The boy's crying. He's a little boy. He's about 9 years old. And the man stops him and says, "Are you okay?" He's speaking in Arabic. "Are you okay?" The little boy goes, "No, we were playing soccer and they shot," I'm going to make it up, "Freddie." "What? What happened?" And he said, "We were just playing soccer and they just shot him in the head." He starts crying. They just shot him. So when when October 7th, how about 1948, 1949? I could give you every fucking date on the calendar of every year of what something was happening to someone in someone's family. 5-year-olds being arrested. I saw with my 2 eyeballs. I couldn't believe my eyes seeing a 5-year-old being drug out of a household by 2 IOF soldiers while the older brother was trying to fight them to try to get their hands off his brother. Meanwhile, the mother is sobbing, and God knows where the father is. He's either gone, dead, meaning, or he was working. Why are they grabbing a 5-year-old boy? What are they going to do with a 5-year-old boy? Is that self-defense? So, when Anthony Bourdain, fuck that. When President Carter went over to the border to Gaza and to West Bank, when he came back and said in an interview, you can look it up, President Carter, 1990s, interviewed his thoughts on Gaza and the Palestinian question. He said, it is worse than South Africa. That's what he said. Okay? So when people say October 7th, shove it up your ass. Tell me about 1949. Tell me about 1955. Tell me about that little 5-year-old boy and multiply that by fucking 100, 1,000. Let's stop the bullshit. Because if that shit was happening to you and your fucking 5-year-old daughter or son was dragged out of your house at 3 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and you had no right to accessing your child, no law, no attorney. Sit with this. What would you do? What would you do? It's funny when it's you, isn't it? It's a whole different story when it's you. So empathy is about making it you. And then realizing, oh shit, I think I'd call all my neighbors. I'd call everybody I want. I would use all my fucking amendments. Fuck, if I had to break them out, I'd do it. I'd do whatever the fuck I needed to get my kid out of there. That's what these people have had to live through for fucking 75 years. And that's not propaganda because it never came out. Do you know how many Holocaust movies we have? And movies and documentaries, over 450. Do you know how many movies we have on slavery? Movies and documentaries, about 100. Do you know how many we have on Palestine? About 20. You see the difference here? Oh, on the Native Americans, you know how many? About 40. Native Americans. Do you see the disparity here? There's something wrong here. Let's not forget gay rights. And men being beaten to death because they just wanted to love a man. How many documentaries and movies on that? I'd say probably about 30. Do you see the problem here? There's a problem. Every story of abuse is important. There is no greater weight. No one has a right to own injustice. Every injustice is wrong. And all the stories need to be told with fairness and balance. But one story doesn't take over the whole fucking dialogue of our human history. And this is what I'm seeing. And there are Jewish people practicing pure Judaism saying, do not use our Holocaust, that's what they're saying to the Zionists, for your fucking agendas. You are disrespecting my ancestors. You are disrespecting my religion. That's what it's there. If your fucking FYP is not giving you this information, it means you're not looking. That's all I have to say. Because you know how FYP on TikTok works, and you know how FYP works on anything. It will fucking show you what you've been looking for. So if you're not looking for it and you're supporting Zionists, you're actually supporting your own fucking oppressors. There are people waking up. I never thought in my I would have told you I was going to eat my fucking hat to think that I would ever listen to Tucker Carlson or Candace Owens, but they have turned. Candace came out openly saying, I am so fucking sorry I voted for Trump. I am so sorry I told people to vote for him. This is not what I voted for. And she had the balls to apologize. People change. People wake up, and they wake up on a fucking dime. One day they believed in this. The following day they wake up and they believe in that. It's extraordinary what we're experiencing. It's actually exciting. It's frightening. It's exciting. It's exhausting. But it's giving all of us the truth that we are winning. And before we get the peace we seek, there's massive chaos. You're going to see massive shit, and we need to talk about it and talk about it. You know why? So that we can open collectively the throat chakra of the entire collective in one giant roar. We are the fractal lions coming back as Yeshua's messenger. He's not coming back, but we came back. We are the messengers of justice. And finally, last word. I know you're tired, and we're going to wrap it up. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. You know, when I encounter a situation, okay, or I'm examining my reaction to a situation, whether it's personal or whether it's geopolitical, I always ask what Yeshua would do. And I meditate on it and I ask for guidance. Because Yeshua was born in Palestine. And he suffered because he was a sacred rebel. He was silenced because he was a sacred rebel. And we should all be taking example from that. You know, rebellion might not suit the people who think they're in charge of us. But what it does suit is it does suit our soul's purpose. And to go against your soul's purpose, the reason we are all here right now, to go against that will result in you having to come back here, number one. Number two, when you have your life review, and you will have your life review, you're going to be forced to face your own apathy and what that did and what you consented to.
Yes.
Think about that really carefully and ask, what would Yeshua do? Would Yeshua stay silent when he sees this? Or would he stand up and be counted? Would he speak out against it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Amen to that.
Yeah.
Amen to that. Aho. Any comments or questions before we go? She's exhausted. It's very late, and but I want to thank you, Andromeda, for following the flotilla and for giving sacred space to it. We send our prayers of Archangel Michael, Archangel Gabriel, Metatron, Archangel Raphael, Archangel Uriel. We send the archangels as the messengers of the one of 1,000 names, the one who created us all, to protect all of the beings in the parts of the world that are dealing with injustice, famine, war, cruelty, unfairness, and that have literally had their throat chakra muzzled, cut. We send that prayer to the people in Gaza, the West Bank, to all of the Palestinians, all over the world who are watching this in horror. We send this to the people in Sudan, in Congo. We send this prayer to the women in Afghanistan who also have been muzzled. We send this to all the women who are not allowed to speak their power and truth. We send this prayer to the homeless vets here, the homeless population in America, to those who are dealing with addiction and so forth, where they're having a hard time. We send this prayer, dear God, and we know that we are the fractals of Mary Magdalene and Yeshua, and we are so honored to be the messenger. We are your humble servant, and we give you we give our obeisances to you with our full heart. And so it is. Amen. Be well.
Aho, beautiful.